Behind the heavy doors of the White House, something far more calculated than a policy discussion is taking shape. Donald Trump is not preparing for a speech, he is preparing for consequences. Not against enemies, but against allies, alliances he believes failed him at a critical moment. And across one of the longest borders in the world, Canada is watching carefully, trying to understand where it stands in this new equation. Because this is no longer just diplomacy. This is a test of loyalty. What's unfolding right now is not a normal disagreement between nations. It is a structural shift in how global alliances operate, and it may become the most defining moment for North America in decades. The tension began building after a critical meeting between Trump and Mark Rutte. On the surface, it looked like a routine discussion. But behind closed doors, it was anything but. For weeks, Trump had been expressing frustration toward NATO allies. His expectation was clear: support U.S. military efforts abroad. But when the moment came, several major European countries chose not to act. To them, it was caution. To Trump, it was abandonment. And in Trump's political philosophy, alliances are not built on ideals. They are built on exchange, support in return for benefits, loyalty in return for protection. And when that balance is broken, consequences follow. Quietly, discussions have already started about reshaping the U.S. military footprint across Europe. Troops could be repositioned, commitments adjusted, and relationships redefined. Not officially, but practically. Because in this strategy, you don't need to leave an alliance to weaken it. You just need to stop treating everyone equally. And this is where Canada becomes central to the story. For decades, Canada has been seen as one of the most reliable partners of the United States, a founding NATO member, a stable neighbor, a predictable ally. But in this latest crisis, Canada chose a different path. Under Prime Minister Mark Carney, the country avoided direct military involvement. Instead, it emphasized diplomacy, international law, and de-escalation. A move that aligns with its global image, but one that may not align with Trump's expectations. Because in a transactional system, neutrality is risky. It can be interpreted as hesitation or even quiet opposition. Now, a critical question is forming inside Washington. Is Canada still a preferred partner, or just another country that didn't step up? This question carries enormous weight, because the answer will not stay within military discussions. It will spill directly into economics. Within weeks, the future of CUSMA will come under review. This agreement governs nearly every major economic interaction between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. For Canada, it is essential. A vast majority of its exports depend on access to the American market. If that access becomes uncertain, the consequences could ripple through every sector of the Canadian economy, from manufacturing to energy to agriculture. And in global markets, uncertainty is often more damaging than direct conflict. But Canada is not powerless. Far from it. Geographically, Canada controls access to one of the most strategically important regions in the world, the Arctic. As global powers increase their presence in the north, cooperation with Canada becomes not just useful, but necessary. No serious Arctic strategy can exist without Canadian involvement, and Washington knows this. Economically, Canada holds another critical advantage: natural resources. From energy supplies to rare and critical minerals, its reserves are vital for modern industries, from clean energy to advanced defense systems. At a time when the United States is trying to reduce dependence on global competitors, these resources become even more valuable. There is also the defense dimension. Canada has signaled flexibility in its military procurement decisions. Options are being explored, alternatives are being discussed. Not as a rejection, but as leverage. Because in high-level negotiations, every decision sends a message. Even Canada's global positioning is evolving. Carefully and quietly, it is expanding trade relationships beyond North America, strengthening ties with Europe, exploring opportunities in Asia, and keeping options open, not as a dramatic shift, but as a strategic hedge. Meanwhile, inside the United States, another factor is gaining importance: domestic politics. In states like Michigan, economic connections with Canada are deeply integrated. Trade disruptions are not abstract, they are visible. They affect jobs, local businesses, and cross-border activity. As election season approaches, these realities become political pressure, and political pressure can reshape decision-making even at the highest levels. So now, both sides are playing a complex game. Trump is applying pressure, testing loyalty, demanding alignment, and linking security with economics. Carney is responding with balance, offering cooperation where necessary while preserving independence where possible. Neither side wants escalation, but neither side is willing to appear weak. And that is what makes this moment so fragile. Because beneath the negotiations and headlines, a deeper transformation is taking place. The old model of North American relations is fading. The idea of automatic trust, guaranteed cooperation, and predictable alliances is being replaced. What emerges instead is something far more uncertain, a relationship built on negotiation, not assumption, on leverage, not loyalty, on strategy, not sentiment. In this new environment, even small miscalculations can have massive consequences. Over the coming months, multiple timelines will collide: trade negotiations, military repositioning, political campaigns, and global tensions, all converging at the same time. The decisions made during this period will not just influence policy, they will define direction for years, possibly decades. This is no longer just about one agreement or one disagreement. It is about the future of an entire region. And as both nations move forward carefully and strategically, one thing is becoming clear: North America is entering a new era, an era where nothing is guaranteed, where every partnership is questioned, and where every decision carries weight far beyond its immediate impact. The outcome is still uncertain, but one thing is not: whatever happens next will shape the continent in ways that cannot be undone.